How you doing, folks? Seems to be an awful lag. True reporter. Sneezing and coughing all over the place. Evening, Marty lads. Evening, Dean. Evening, Marty. Evening, Shook One. Yo, Holly. The daddy, welcome. Cyber Dog. Jamie Whitby, how you doing? Ricky Police Watch, nice to see you. Sealy UK, good evening to you. Evening, Hedden. Good citizen. Sleep bitch. Spellbinder. Stella Andrews. How are you all doing, folks? Everybody good? Everybody well? Nobody suffering from the old coronavirus, I hope. Dan and the Dog's Adventures, welcome. Delhone, yeah, they're doing all right actually. The wall, they knocked the wall down. They've practically rebuilt the wall now, which is handy. They're sorting out the upstairs balconies and that as well over the next couple of days. So hopefully that will be done soon. Yes, Hedden, that's something I was something I want to do. Maybe tomorrow is have a bit of a chat about all that kind of stuff. I want to leave it out of today's video as much as possible, but maybe tomorrow, once we know for sure what's going on, we'll have some information to share and to pass on. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button for me, please, because the more people that like the video, the more chance YouTube have got of sending that notification to other subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you could start smacking that like button for me. Thank you. I'm feeling good today. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you asking, mate. I am feeling good today, considering what's going on in the world. Jay Cass, how you doing? Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, I'm gonna do my PAP reports as a live one, as I've been doing so far this week. And then afterwards we just have a little chat for a while, just talking some random. Right, 72 people watching, 36 likes. Come on, guys, we can do better than that. There's people that keep missing the live streams because YouTube have a habit of not sending out notifications. If they think that the video is worthy, they will send out those notifications so more people get to come and check us out. Lucifer, did you not get a notification? Yeah, it's typical YouTube. Copwatch didn't get one either. Higher Patriot views. Joe Public. Can we keep the chatting each other up to a minimum if you don't mind. Right, so many people that didn't get a notification. It's doing my head in, really is. I will be, you know, things are going to be a little bit difficult for a while with everything going on lockdown and all the rest of it. Everybody's going to be suffering, but I am still in the process of sorting things out in order to get at least a email list set up. Okay, I'm going to get an email list set up specifically and only for sending notifications of when I'm going to do a live stream. So everybody that would be interested in that, I will be able to set you up and put a link so that you can subscribe to that mailing list. And what I'll do is at least an hour before I go live, I will be sending out emails to everybody that is interested in knowing when. So yeah, so that's how we're going to do it. Our jackets. There are, I think there is a jacket in there. They do a jacket. I can't remember what it's called, however. But if you check the links in the description and go and check it out, and if you click on the customize link, and it will give you an option to choose any item of merchandise that is sold via the supplier, and you'll be able to find the jackets in there. Did I see the message about Chief Superintendent? No, I haven't, John. No, I haven't yet. I've been out today. I've had to go out and face the, you know, face the unclean. I had to post a hat to Active Patriot and some PAP cards I had to post as well. So I had to go out and brave the unclean out in the streets. Right, what I want to do, guys, because what I've noticed is the last few lives I've done is I've spoke to you like this first of all, and then I've kind of gone into the live, and I've completely skipped the way that I normally do the live, normally do the videos. So what I'm gonna do in a few minutes, I'm gonna give a few more minutes on, you know, just like this before I get into it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the reports. I will have to ignore the comments while I'm going through the reports, because afterwards I want to cut the video down. I'm going to download it from YouTube, cut it down and make the report its own video. So I'm going to cut it out of this live and make it its own video like I have done the last couple of days. But for that reason, I want to do the report how I would normally do it. And for me to do that, I'm going to have to ignore the comments while I'm going through the report. So please, if you've got anything you need to ask or say, please wait until the end, because I don't want to ignore you, but I'm going to have to in order to do that. No, the PAP cards, somebody just asked about them. The PAP cards are they're not purchased through the merchandise store. The PAP cards come from me directly. So what you need to do is you need to go to the PayPal link in the description. You click on that, and in the PayPal payment screen, it will give you the option to add a note. What I need to know is how many of each card you want. So if you want version 1, which is a standard business card, just a little square printed both sides, or if you want the bigger foldable cards, the standard business card ones are £1 for multiples of 10, and I have to do them in multiples of 10 in order to cover the cost of the postage. So if you wanted 5 cards, for example, I'd still have to charge you for the 10 cards, which would be £1. And again, that's simply to cover the postage of, you know, if I charged you 10p per card and it was 50p and I put them in the post at first class, then I'm paying out my own pocket. So it's literally only to cover the postage cost and a little bit left over to make sure that I can buy some more when I've run out. But the normal business cards are £1 for 10, and the foldable ones are £2 for multiples of 10. But make sure you leave your address in there as well, because sometimes PayPal's a habit of not sending an address through, and that leaves me chasing you up. So I'm sorry if I've ignored some of your messages there, your comments and whatnot. I do apologise. As I say, I need to in a few moments I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to go get the PAP report out of the way, and then after that we can have a little chat. Lucifer, I'll have to minimize the page so I can't see the comments going up. I've got two cameras running at the moment, and I've got to do that because on one camera I've got an auto cue basically with all of my notes on it, and just behind that, what you're seeing me on now is the camera that is recording. So I've got two set up at the moment. Buffering. Right. So there we go. See Marty's post on YouTube shut down. I haven't seen anything. The afternoons are ram-packed for me. Even though I'm not editing the videos, I still have to go through all the sources of information and write my notes out properly and make sure that the information that I've got is the same information that is out there. Do you know what I mean? I need to make sure that everything is correct, basically. So right. Tyrant Finder, how you doing? Need a purple t-shirt, Patriot Views, with Garda logo and a middle finger saying fuck the Garda. I can probably do that, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I can sort that out for you. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. And that's a nice thing to say as well, so thank you very much. Stella Andrews, I'm literally in a few minutes, or in a couple of minutes, I'm gonna get into the PAP reports, which will be cut down and edited late tonight, and uploaded again late tonight as a separate video. So if you want to skip the PAP reports bit in this video and watch that later, then you can go and make yourself something to eat for the next, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you can come back and we'll have our chat. We'll have a proper chat. So nothing wrong with pot noodles if you're in a rush. Right. Okay, so I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to do this PAP reports, and then I can concentrate on the comments afterwards. So for that reason, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cover the comments on my computer so I'm not distracted by them. Excuse me. And it's going to be a bit weird because I'm going to do the introduction like I normally do in the recorded videos, even though I've already said hello to you. So bear with me. Right. So hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies, and in-betweeners. Obviously, I'm Dan, and welcome back to another PAP Reports. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of March, 2020, I think. On the 6th of January, I posted a video about a firm called My Local Bobby. Now, My Local Bobby is a company set up by retired and ex-police as a local community policing project for people of affluent areas in London. I talked about how they were planning on bringing private prosecutions against people deemed to be offenders in those areas. Now, although I don't agree with privatised policing, the thing to note about that video was the statement made by one of the directors who said the criminal justice system is in crisis, with tens of thousands fewer prosecutions and more lenient sentencing as old-fashioned policing had been abandoned. Now that statement I have to agree with, and we hear all too often crimes against people going uninvestigated, and that means that more people are being left to re-offend due to no punishment, Well, due to police refusing to charge a suspect of a shoplifting incident at a boot store in Piccadilly, Boots decided to take steps and, in a legal first, brought about a private prosecution with the help of my local Bobby against Nicholas Richards, who was already on a suspended sentence when he stole £170 worth of goods from one of their stores. When police arrived, they told the store that it was a civil matter, shoplifting a civil matter, and they let the suspect go on his merry way without even taking him in for breaching the terms of his suspended sentence. Richards already had 25 previous convictions, including 18 for shoplifting, and he admitted the offence at Medway Magistrates Court in Kent, and he's going to be sentenced later this month, apparently. Richards was detained in the store on July the 4th last year by a My Local Bobby who was wearing a body camera, and that meant that they had evidence against him, including being caught on camera with the stolen items and the CCTV from in store. David McKelvey, a former Detective Chief Inspector with the Metropolitan Police who co-founded My Local Bobby, said the evidence was so overwhelming we were surprised and frustrated that the police chose to release Richards despite his history of criminality. It's unacceptable that stores such as Boots are being let down by the police in this way. Now, My Local Bobby currently has 30 so-called Bobbies who provide 24-hour cover. They're mostly former police officers and soldiers and wear red tops and caps, but operate only in areas of those who pay them extra. The body camera of the employee who detained Richards recorded a Metropolitan Police releasing him after saying, "Don't do any silly shit. I don't want to see you again." What's going to happen now, excuse me, I have to keep scrolling this back. What's going to happen now is you are going to leave the store and that's it. All right. And that's what the cop said. And this shows how police are ever more refusing to do their job. I mean, think about the common law element of harm, loss or damage. And I understand that this was a corporation that was shoplifted from and not an individual. But even in the days of old, those who stole from vendors were still punished. So are we going to start seeing more and more corporations taking legal action and sidestepping the police and criminal courts process? I don't know, but I do think it's not a good idea, as the civil courts require less evidence than a criminal court in order to make a determination, and this could see many people prosecuted unfairly. I want to thank Sad But Mad Lad for the heads up on that story. Subscriber Charles provided me with a nod to the following report. 29-year-old Spencer Ashworth was shot dead in 2017 by armed police in a traffic stop. The IOPC, who have been investigating the fatal shooting, has said that the killing was lawful, as Ashworth was believed to pose an immediate threat to life. It was said that Spencer was waving a handgun at another motorist on the A369 Portbury 100 in September 2017. Police arrived, stopped his vehicle at 9:32. The IOPC said that the officers attempted to verbally engage with Mr. Ashworth for more than 30 seconds, but he did not comply with instructions to show his hands and get out of the car. He was seen to aim a pistol at one of the officers and fire it. The four armed officers discharged 15 rounds from their handguns over a period of 4 seconds. Ashworth sustained fatal wounds to his head and chest and died at the scene. A later investigation showed that his weapon was a Walther air pistol, which had the appearance of a genuine Walther P99 semi-automatic. The air gun was said to have been fired twice during the incident, causing a superficial injury to the thigh of one of the officers. Catherine Evans, Regional Director for the IOPC, said that I send my condolences to Mr. Ashworth's family and everyone affected by this tragic incident. The evidence shows officers initially provided loud, clear and unambiguous verbal instructions to Mr. Ashworth, which sadly he did not comply with. The fact that 4 armed officers fired simultaneously can, in our opinion, be considered an indication that each of them concurrently and instinctively perceived there to be an immediate threat to life. Well, I don't necessarily think that's true. If you're standing there in a state of panic, you've got somebody in front of you that potentially has a weapon, and you see it on films, right? One person fires their weapon, and because that one person fires, everybody else fires because of panic. Yeah, you see it in films all the time, and I know films aren't real life, but they are based on real life, actions, how you would generally react in a real life situation. So for the IOPC to say that just because they all fired at the same time meant that they all perceived the same threat at the same time, and I don't necessarily believe that. As I say, if one of them fired their gun, even if by accident, the others would have fired their guns as well, because it's just the way that people are. You would panic, you would think that somebody's being shot, and you would seek to prevent any further, harm to anybody. She goes on to say that we believe that the pistol in the hands of Mr. Ashworth, and pointed it in the manner that it would have had an appearance of a real firearm. After the shots were fired, all the firearms officers and other police who attended immediately attempted to save Mr. Ashworth's life. All key police and witnesses engaged positively with the post-incident procedures and provided detailed accounts, which included their honestly held beliefs, of course. But what interests me is the next bit. It says that inquest jurors heard recordings of 999 calls made to police as Mr. Ashworth travelled down the M5, as well as seeing body cam footage from officers. But yet the IOPC said it had identified learning that all authorised firearms officers should be reminded of the requirement to start filming on their body cams when they're directed to a firearms incident. So either they had their body cams on and the jurors saw it, or they didn't have it on, hence why the IOPC said they've identified learning. Doesn't really make sense to me. Except for, seeing as the footage hasn't been released, maybe the footage they saw was simply the aftermath and not the incident itself, which would mean that the dead man has no defence against any false allegations that may have been made against him by several police who riddled him with bullets. And let's face it, it wouldn't be the first time the police have conspired to cover up their actions. Now, I do want to say that if somebody was pointing a realistic weapon at someone, you're not going to immediately assume it's a toy, but rather a real weapon. And that I fully understand, but the report suggests that one police officer received a superficial pellet graze on his leg, which should have indicated that it wasn't a real gun, either by the sound or by the wounds. However, let's be fair, someone's pointed a gun at you and you hear a bang of any description, you're likely to panic. But again, something I don't quite get is that if you have a toy gun, why the hell would you be waving it around when faced by multiple armed officers, unless you're completely off your trolley? So to be completely clear, I'm not necessarily suggesting here that the police were wrong. If they really were faced with a man waving a realistic looking air pistol at them, but I find it strange that there is no released footage, and that it was said the jury saw footage, but the IOPC said they have identified learning that firearms officers should put their cameras on. So a little bit on a weird one there. I find it interesting on top of that fact that no one else could defend the dead man against what could have been false reports of the incident. And that strengthens my reasoning why you should always film the police, even if they're not dealing with you directly, because you could very well be saving someone's life, their reputation, or saving them from false or malicious reports from police in order to cover their own arses. On the 16th, we spoke about 30-year-old Georgia Elizabeth Kearney, who racked up 66 points on her driving licence but was spared a ban by the court as it could affect her business. Well, today we have another cretin who seems to have some kind of privilege that the rest of us don't, and that's 50-year-old Philip Davies from Wilmslow in Cheshire. Davies is described as a millionaire businessman and had been facing a ban of at least 6 months under the totting up procedure after a speed camera captures his 50 grand Range Rover Vogue travelling at 37 and then 39 miles an hour in a 30 zone. He already had 3 points from a speeding conviction in May 2017, 4 points from another offence in October 2018, and at the time of his getting caught this time, he already had 13 points on his licence, which means he should have already been banned. His defence told the court that Davis's company would stagnate if he was banned from the roads because he requires a vehicle on every occasion he visits other businesses all over the country. But what about the mothers and fathers who need a vehicle to get to the shops or take their kids to school or to get to work themselves? I rarely hear about the police or courts letting them people off. Should that happen, his barrister went on, his sole employee risked losing their job, the court heard. Mr. Sherrington continued, he has been married for 18 years, has got 2 sons at Manchester Grammar School who are 17 and 13. His eldest needs to be taken to and from school and numerous extracurricular activities. His youngest son is a very talented footballer who has a 2-year contract with Burnley FC. You must understand the potential opportunity this child has. He has done extraordinarily well. His lawyer then explained how the younger sibling is not in a position at the moment to get to and from Burnley on public transport, and Mr. Davis has to take a 3-hour round trip to get there. Not everybody gets a chance to play professional football, he said. No, and not everybody else has enough money to make the court see them as privileged either. Davis was provided a driving ban, but only for 6 weeks. He was fined a paltry £1,500, ordered to pay £185 in costs and surcharges, and he was given another 6 points on his licence. So, a millionaire who has broken the law gets a pittance fine, which I'm sure he paid immediately, and given more points to a tune of 19 in total on his licence. I mean, I thought the DVLA were able to revoke people's licences without it going to court. I think if they can, they really need to step up on this case, and of Georgia from Monday's report, who currently has 66 points on their licence. The entire court system is a joke and proving more and more how biased they are towards people based on their class. Now we have another court proving it is not fit for purpose. Greenock Sheriff's Court has failed to jail a teenage drug dealer and offensive weapon offender so he can DJ at weekends. Eamon McGee, who admitted possession of cocaine with intent to supply, had already breached a nighttime bail curfew while awaiting sentence and was also charged with having a knife. Although his not guilty plea to the knife was accepted by prosecutors. Mr. Drummond of Keenan Solicitors told the court that McGee blamed the possession of cocaine on a friend who was now dead. How handy that is for you. And that Mr. McGee is 19, and it is plain that his direction of travel will in all likelihood be determined at this juncture. The tone of the background report is indicative of someone who has been assessed as having possibilities and hope for Mr. McGee regarding his attitude and insight. If he concentrates on the pro-social aspects of his life, he is capable of not offending. Well, couldn't we say the same for murderers and rapists? You know, Your Honour, if my client who viciously stabbed 12 people concentrates on not doing it again, then he deserves not to go to prison. Sheriff Michael Higgins imposed a tag curfew as a direct alternative to custody after inquiring about McGee's weekend DJ work. McGee will also be able to work as a delivery driver for a fast food outlet, as his curfew restrictions are from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. Right, work that out. You got a curfew as punishment, and your curfew is set from bedtime till the time you wake up. I mean, what the fucking kind of punishment is that? You know, it is literally, I can't even describe what kind of punishment that is, because it is just no punishment at all. You are banned from going out from the moment, you know, from bedtime until it's time to wake up. Right, okay. Now, he was told that he must also complete 216 hours of community service and will be kept under a social work supervision for 18 months. Sheriff Michael Higgins said, "You have pleaded guilty to very serious offences. I have considered the imposition of a custodial sentence, and that would be justified." Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry for imposing a custodial sentence on you for breaking the fucking law. Jesus. He says, "However, I'm satisfied that an alternative to custody is available to you. I accept that you are a young man who has had problems, not all of your own making. no doubt because he blamed them all on his dead mate. You are at a point where you need to make a choice where you go in life, and these offences are not the way to progress. So the judge can identify the seriousness of the offences and that jail is justified, but gives him no jail and a curfew that's about as useful as a fucking ashtray on a motorbike. I mean, it's amazing how the establishment moan about crime rates going up and then give sentences like this for offences and offenders that they call serious. What a joke. Now we're heading over to our favourite Metropolitan Police, who have apparently been shredding documents linked to undercover policing inquiries. Documents that could be relevant into alleged abuse by undercover police. Members of a domestic extremism unit destroyed material after an order was sent out telling them to preserve anything related to an undercover policing inquiry. So they received the memo saying, do not destroy anything under the undercover policing inquiry. So they went and destroyed them. The probe was announced in 2014 amid outrage over accusations that police officers took fake identities from dead children. And it is also a probe that has been beset by delays and legal arguments. The Independent Office for Police Conduct said it had completed 3 investigations into allegations against members of the Met's National Domestic Extremism and Disorder Intelligence Unit. They say they also found that a former officer would have a case to answer for gross misconduct, had they still been serving, for failure to take action after being informed that a unit within the Metropolitan Police may have destroyed material relevant to the undercover policing inquiry. A second investigation examined a complaint by Green Party politician Baroness Jenny Jones, who claims that in 2014, the National Domestic Extremism and Disorder Intelligence Unit, wow, that's a mouthful, destroyed information relating to her after she made a subject access request in an effort to find out if she'd been targeted with intelligence gathering. Although the IOPC concluded that there was insufficient evidence to proceed with that particular case. Sarah Green, the regional director of the IOPC, said that they uncovered serious failings in the National Domestic Extremism and Disorder Intelligence Unit. It is extremely unfortunate that a number of former police managers, I find it weird that she uses that word, former police managers, have refused to engage with this investigation to provide evidence about what steps, if any, were taken to ensure the documents were preserved for the inquiry. The investigation had no power to compel them to do so, although the inquiry might have if it considers their evidence on these issues to be relevant. A spokesperson for the Metropolitan Police said it had provided every assistance to the IOPC through its investigation. They said, we are fully aware of our legal obligations and duties in respect of assisting public inquiries, and we are not complacent in making sure staff and officers know what they should do with material which may be useful for an inquiry. However, Met Police, you are completely complacent in other areas, like making sure all your police staff know and understand the laws that they are supposed to be enforcing. The inquiry has not yet heard any evidence amid pushes by police forces for hearings to be held in private and the identities of officers involved to be withheld. I say, if you have nothing to hide, let's try that again. I say, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. The first hearings were scheduled to start in June this year, but because of the coronavirus, they've been pushed off. They've been postponed till a later date, but I will obviously keep an eye on that. West Midlands Police now, they seem to be trying to hinder a private investigator from examining the case of Ryan Pass's death. Ryan was killed in Chicago's nightclub in Stourbridge in 2017. But after Kobe Murray was cleared of murder, Mr. Pass's family decided to hire a private investigator to look into the case in order to try and uncover new evidence in order to bring a civil proceeding against him. Private investigator Russ Winfield, a former detective of more than 30 years, has been hired to examine the case, but says there has been no cooperation from West Midlands Police. Surprise, surprise. He says, going over existing evidence that formed the basis for the original prosecution could prove crucial to his investigation. He says, we've asked a number of reasonable questions of West Midlands Police about the investigation, and the response has been woefully inadequate, and that's hampering our investigation. The family who tragically lost Ryan needed to be 100% certain everything that can be done has been done. Platitudes from West Midlands Police are not good enough with no substance, he said. Mr. Winfield has pledged to fully reinvestigate the death with or without the assistance of the police, and will attempt to gather fresh evidence and appeal for new witnesses to come forward. He added, Ryan's family and myself completely believe in justice, but justice can only be achieved if the jury hears all the evidence. And in Ryan's case, I'm not convinced the jury heard everything. A West Midlands Police spokeswoman said West Midlands Police conducted a review of this tragic case following the acquittal and regularly liaise with the CPS. This review has been shared with the lawyer acting on behalf of Ryan's family, but we are unable to disclose any further information to them at this time. West Midlands Police fully understands and empathises with Ryan's family and friends' need for justice, and will continue to explore any new lines of inquiry, as we do with all unsolved murder inquiries. Now, you would think that the police would welcome help from other external investigators, which will alleviate any additional pressure put on the police. But as per normal, the police play the chase game in the hope that the chase is simply going to give up and leave them alone. I said it a few minutes ago, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. So why do police consistently make it difficult or impossible to share information other than to protect themselves and cover their own balls-ups? A big thank you to Patreon supporters, Motty Lad, Holly, AD, Dave, Ian and Copwatch UK. Your support is helping me to continue providing this daily content, especially as most of the reports contain content that is deemed unsuitable for most advertisers. But that's all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. Until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials. And we're done. We're done with that. Okay, I can cut that out and make it its own video, which I can upload later. So anyway, thank you for sticking with me through that. But yes, it seems that the courts are simply not, and maybe it's got something to do with this whole situation that we've got going on at the moment. Maybe people knew about that and decided that, you know, the higher ups, shall we say, decided that they didn't want to fill the prisons up with anyone else at the moment, you know. So maybe that's why some of these people are being allowed to not go to prison for serious offences, as they call them. Who knows? So yeah, there we are. It's very, very, very peculiar. How you doing, Chris Brown? Oh dear, oh dear. Actually, if I sit like this and you can't see, I don't think, the top of me. Oh yeah, you can. In the camera that I'm looking at, it cuts off here, but on the screen it doesn't. So you've just seen me. Now you've just seen me Barnet, and it's a mess. So there we go. Yeah, Holly, I saw that train you're talking about. I saw saw some stills from that the other day. There does seem to be as well, folks. There does seem to be a video going around of tanks on the back of flatbed lorries. Now, somebody sent that to me earlier, and they asked me if, you know, what it means. Well, if you've seen that footage of, I think there's 3 tanks at night on the back of flatbeds, if you've seen it, that video's not recent. So please, I know it's you know, I know it's a worrying time for many people, but please don't go over the top and start believing everything you see and hear at the drop of the hat. I know most of you that watch these videos do not just take what you see at face value, you look into it, and that's great, and I encourage everybody to do that. But you know, please, if you see things like that, double check, triple check before sharing it yourself and causing more panic between people, because it's going to do damage. You know, the panic has already caused problems, okay, with the shops and things like that. Okay, we already know. You look at the people that are panicking, going to the shops, stocking up, buying everything that they can, and there's people out there that can't afford to do that. There's people out there now that if we go on lockdown from tomorrow, there's people out there that are going to fucking starve. Okay, they're going to be hungry because they can't get food because people are panicking, and I think it's disgusting. What I have noticed, however, is most people are going to the main supermarkets. Now, I know that smaller shops, some of them, will increase their prices. However, most of the smaller independent shops that I've been to, like the one up the road from me, they're fully stocked on everything. Do you know what I mean? They are fully stocked on everything. Yes, you may have to pay a few pennies more for some of the essentials, okay? But please don't go over the top and you know, and join this madness of stripping supermarkets bare. If you can, try and go to your local store for your essentials, because they generally aren't going to have run out. They're still, most of them that I've seen have still been well stocked up. There is, yeah, True Reporters just brought up a thing there about key meters. I have been listening to Bojo's daily statements, just in case he's doing better than I am. He's getting more views than I am, that's for sure. I'm wondering if I'm getting more likes than he is, though. Excuse me. But yeah, you know, with one of the reasons why these smaller shops are putting their prices up is because everybody's going to the supermarkets and they're losing money. If you started going to these smaller shops, right, then they don't have to put their prices up to cover their asses, because they're still making money. Do you know what I mean? You just got to use your brain and you know, take a step back when that panic is hitting people. Just take a step back and just look at it from an outside point of view. Go mad, nomad. Yeah. To be honest, I you know, it's not something that I think is happening. That's what I'm saying. The video that I saw that somebody sent to me, it took me about 5 minutes, and I found out that the video is you know, at least 6 months old, is what I can say. It's at least 6 months old. But yeah, then if they're in a rush to get somewhere, they're not going to be rushing there with amber lights on the top flashing. Do you know what I mean? They'd have police escorts or something, and they'd be getting there sharpish. But you know, it's hardly likely that they're going to be rolling tanks out into your local village. Yeah, shops, yeah, Stella, that's what I'm saying. The smaller shops are putting their prices up because they're losing money, because people are panicking and they're not going to their little shops. They're panicking and going to the big shops to stockpile on stuff. So the smaller shops are suffering. The only way that they can manage through that is to increase their prices. No smoking in the workplace. I think they've got better things to do than come after me for smoking in the workplace. But yeah, I think a lot of people are panicking, going over the top, doing things that they, you know, following the herd. Yeah, sheeple. They see some people panic buying. I've not even been out. I've not got nothing in yet. I swear to you, I have nothing in. I've not even been shopping this week. Do you know what I mean? Got some bog rolls. I think I've got a tin of soup. I've got some, I made some spaghetti bolognese last week and froze that. So I've got some portions of that. Got some, I went out, I bought some milk today, 4-pint milk. And that's it. I ain't got nothing else in. Dog food, I've got the dog food. But I ain't got no other food in the house at all. I've got to go shopping. But you know, people will panic. Yeah, all I need to do, Lucifer, is chuck a bit in. You know, I can just put it in the dog bowl and stick a bit of pastry over the top and whack it in the oven for 20 minutes. Job done. Dog food is pretty much just unseasoned offal anyway. It's just, you know, and being a chef, I've eaten offal plenty of times. Come hunting with me, Pap. Kill it, cook it, eat it. Do you know what? I used to go, oh, what's it called? I can't remember what they're called now. Long time ago. In Epping Forest, when I used to live up in Epping Forest, we used to go and oh, I can't remember what they're called now. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look it up because I can't remember what it's called. Ah, muntjac. We used to go hunting for muntjac in Epping Forest. Long time ago that was. Hair coercing. I ain't got to worry about toilet roll. Only 2 weeks ago, I bought a new 6-pack of sports socks. Yeah, we used to have permission from some of the landowners over there. So we'd go out now and again and get some muntjac. So I mean, there's a lot going on tomorrow, guys, as well. Just for those of you who are on the live at the moment, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about something. Something. I always say something. I'm going to be talking about something which may be of importance to you all. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to come back tomorrow to find that out. I'm going to do the same thing as today. I'll come on, I'll do my PAP reports first of all, and then we'll have a chat afterwards. Yes, there's some information I'm going to give you tomorrow, which may be very relevant to the very near future. So now the Teddy's, can you see what he's doing? What Big Teddy's doing to Little Ted? You see what he's up to? He's a bully. He's an absolute bully. Look, he's got, oh, he had Little Ted bent over. Typical police bear. Pack it in, you animal. You stay there. He is photography, and like he's absolutely dirty bastard. Can't keep his hands off the little bear. Ah. Unfortunately, Grit, they're both boys. But, you know, this is police bears we're talking about here. So I'm just going to take this off of there, so it's not in my way. Is your Uncle Barry also my dad? No, I think no. Uncle Dan's called Keith, I think. Uncle Dad is called Keith. And Auntie Mum is Mildred. I hate those names. No offence to anyone called Keith or Mildred, by the way. Don't buy matches or lighter gas anymore. Well, the problem is, if I do run out of matches and my lighter stops working, I'll just go use my gas hob. Do you know what I mean? So there's not really getting out of it. Don't I ever play any background music? I don't, because I want to try and keep as many videos as possible monetized. And I know that's a laugh, considering most of them aren't, based on what I talk about in them. But you know, you never know. One day YouTube might turn around and say, well, actually, we've been a little bit harsh here, haven't we? Let's give them their monetization back. Yeah, Marty lad, your hat will be ordered to be sent on the 1st. So you haven't got long. It will be ordered and sent on the 1st, mate. And I appreciate it, Marty. I do. You're a top man. And you, Holly, you are too. A top woman. Well, let's call you a top person. Let's be politically correct, because I wouldn't like to offend anyone by misgendering them. So you're a top person. Is it expensive for someone to start a live chat? It doesn't cost anything to start a live chat, only if you have to use your data. But if you're on Wi-Fi, then it's not costing anything. You're a woman, you have a vagina. That doesn't mean anything, Holly. That means nothing these days. We need some more proof, I'm afraid. What kind of top am I? What do you mean, Stella? Am I missing something? Or have I missed another comment? I mean, I like to think, you know, I could be classed as a lesbian because I only sleep with women as well. Do you know what I mean? So I could be a lesbian. Ladies, gentlemen, and those yet to decide. Hence the in is out, is and in between as in my introduction of my videos. What am I smoking? That's a bit of orange bud. It's not very strong. I'm only joking. I'm just tobacco, mate. I don't smoke anything else. If you have a criminal record, will you be more likely to be diagnosed with coronavirus? I wouldn't say if you have a criminal record. I would say, however, that if the police don't like you, then you're more likely to be diagnosed with coronavirus. You can say what you like, Stella. Absolutely anything you like. I am all for free speech. You should know that by now. I think everybody else that comes on here is all for free speech. Might have their opinions, but as long as people aren't attacking other people, then I don't really care. Um, it's only when people start attacking others is when I think it oversteps that free speech line. But obviously, if you've got opinions and you want to discuss about things, even if your opinions aren't the same as somebody else's, then go for it. Bojo said schools closed from Friday, no lockdown this week. They say, remember though, Bojo's doing his daily updates. Everything could change by tomorrow. Whatever he says today could be completely changed by tomorrow. All it's got to take is for them to turn around and say, well, we've had an extra so many people die over the night, during the night or whatever. And that's going to be enough for them to turn around and say, well, hang on a minute, we've got to update our plans. So although they say there might be no lockdown, there is still a relatively high chance that it will. One thing I will say is if country goes on lockdown, let's face it, apart from the ones that worship the mainstream media, YouTube's going to get very busy. You have a lot of people looking for a lot of stuff. But yeah, as I said, tomorrow I want to discuss something after tomorrow's PAP reports with regards to this situation. In fact, I'm going to put a call out later tonight in the community page of this channel. So in the community page of this channel, I'm going to put a call out. I'm going to explain what I'm going to be talking about. Not exactly, but I'm going to give a brief of what I want to talk about tomorrow. And I want to see if there's anybody that wants to come on tomorrow to discuss with me on a live chat. Okay. Now I can get, I think, 2 or 3 people on. But I want to know what whether your thoughts are. I don't care if you think this is all a conspiracy or whether you are scared because of the coronavirus. It doesn't matter what your views are. I'm going to put a call out. I'm going to put a post in the community tab tonight after this. Anybody that wants to come on a live chat tomorrow with me, and if we can get 2 or 3 people on, so we can have a debate, a discussion. So all you'll need to do is comment on the post that I put in the community area of this channel later on, and then I will reply to you. No, it's going to be a mass debate, Holly. There you go. I said it for you. The community page. If you go to the main page of my channel, even if you're looking on a mobile phone, if you go to the main page, so if you click my like the logo next to my name, and that'll take you through to my page. Across the top, you'll have I can't remember what the exact words are, but across the top there's some links that you should be able to scroll across, and in there's a community tab, and in that community tab we'll have posts that I've posted. Well, Chris Brown, I've got to say, I don't really care about the Formula One. I mean, if I want to watch something going round and round and round all the time, I'll just tie a bonio to Daisy's tail. But, you know, for me, it's very boring. I'm all for the engineering and everything else, and the speeds they can go and all of that stuff, but it's just watch them go round and round and round. You know, the only good thing about one of them um, is when they crash, and obviously not because I want to see people hurt, but when they crash at those speeds and they take off, it's mental. Audi looks like it's been looted. First case in jail reported today, HMP Manchester. Ooh, well, I mean, what they should be doing is they should be transferring prisoners. You know, get all the serious offenders. You know, the type that we want to string up. Those ones should be putting all of them into a couple of days off. JCAS, I can't even check that at the moment because I'm not using my normal phone for recording. The normal phone I use for recording is behind me now. This is actually my main phone that I'm using because I needed the other one for the auto cue. Iran have let out 18,000 prisoners on temporary release. Really? I'll have to look into that. Well, I've been literally dealing with all of the stuff that I had to talk about earlier. All of this stuff, this coronavirus and stuff. To be fair, most of it has nothing to do with the channel. However, the way things are looking, it will soon be to do with the channel, and that's why I want to have a chat tomorrow. And yeah, and discuss what potentials may be coming for people like you and I. Evening, Dean Carter. Utronique, the WhatsApp thing's not a group. It's literally the WhatsApp is for people to send any information they want me to look at. I can't always guarantee that I can reply to everybody because if I do, I'm going to spend all day replying to people rather than doing what I need to do. So it's literally just for people to send me videos or article links that they might have. I may in the future put a group together, an actual group, but at the moment I just don't have the time to be able to run a group on there, as well as everything else that I'm doing. But hopefully I'll get there at some point. But no, I appreciate you wanting to wanting to be part of a group. But I wish I had the extra time to do that. I really do. But at the moment, I just don't. Darren Goodwin. I don't know why it won't. I don't know why it won't let you do that. Maybe if you want to support, you can do so. Maybe through the PayPal link in the description, if that works for you. I don't know, but it's up to you. Obviously, just an idea. Do I think ex-servicemen make bad police officers? First of all, don't call them officers. I don't necessarily think I could say that they do or don't. I don't necessarily think that ex-servicemen would or wouldn't make good police. I think what it takes is, I think everybody generally joins the police with decent intentions. I think most people join the police with decent intentions. Some of them now, I think, are seeing how they can get away with all sorts of stuff and join for that reason. But I think that people join the police with genuine intentions in most cases. But as Sad But Mad Lads just popped in the comments there, I saw at the corner of my eye, it's about following orders. And remember, that's what they want, people that will follow orders without question. Do you know what I mean? And then when it comes to it, the top brass throw them to the wolves. Do you know what I mean? Even though all the way through they are being indoctrinated into following orders without question, which is wrong. Because if you are in the police and somebody tells you to do something and you think it is morally wrong, you should stand up for your morals rather than fold in and give up. Do you know what I mean? And say, oh, go, we'll just do it because you told us to. You know what I mean? Mighty lad, I'll tell you what would be cool. Maybe in a couple of years, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, when I've got enough subscribers to do it, maybe we'll have a police abusing powers event. We'll get a hotel somewhere and hire out the function room and get people to come along, and we'll do a PAP live. Do a PAP live stream. That'd be quite mad, that. Well, I'm afraid, Holly, as with everything, it's all to do with cash flow, isn't it? Unfortunately, so it's all very, see, again, even if you just want a beer or two, that is cash flow for people and myself. It's a case of getting to places in order to do that, unfortunately. Going on tour. That'd be quite amusing. Going on tour to all the police headquarters. I do know that I'm still waiting to iron out the details. Active Patriot wants me to go on his channel at some point and do a live on there. I know that's nothing to do with meeting up in person, but I think that that'd be quite interesting. I think that might help as well. Going on his channel, might get a few extra subscribers from that. And again, it's a case of the more people know about what's going on, you know, the better it is. And with me producing videos on a daily basis, even though most of them are as I say, non-monetized, the ones that are monetized, as the channel grows, more people will start watching them, and I'll start making a few pennies more on those videos. So yeah, it'd be nice to get on some other channels and promote what we do here. Holly, Motty Lad, Chubbs, Joe Public, Dan, Daisy and Alice out for a couple of beers and a laugh. Daisy and Alice ain't coming out on the lash. Not a lot, Tommans, not a lot. Couple of pounds each thing, and that's it. Literally. Your ex-forces and have issues that they think they are God. Who think they are? What, the officers in the forces or the police are you talking about? Need to start getting illegally detained and arrested. Well, I don't fancy going out of my way to do that, and in my other videos, I didn't go out of my way to go and, you know, for that to happen. It kind of just happened. I have to be careful because I've got the dogs, and if I'm kept in for 12 hours or 24 hours, the dogs suffer. However, the arrest that did happen last February last year, I'm still pushing that at the moment. I'm waiting for my brief to get back to me with some info on civil proceedings. So yeah, still got to wait and see what happens there. That's very true, Chris Brown. Tommans, I've got a funny feeling over the coming weeks, months, as you talk about the evil authoritarian state, you wait and see what's going to happen. I think you're not stupid anyway. Thank you, Damon. Much appreciated. Remember that anything that gets put in place, apparently everything that gets put in place now, excuse me, will be kept in place for about 2 years. So whatever changes they make now, apparently will remain that way, or enforceable, shall we say, for the next couple of years. That is a problem for everybody. Do not underestimate how problematic that is going to be. Damon Head, I don't remember. Have we spoke before? Please forgive me. Obviously, I speak to so many people through here. I don't recognise your name. But have you commented before? No. Okay. No worries. As I say, I didn't recognise the name. So that's in that case. I genuinely appreciate your support there. Thank you. And please feel free to join in the conversations anytime, whether it's on here or whether it is on, you know, the comments on one of the other videos. Oh, there we go, guys. There's something I forgot to tell you. And Epstein didn't kill himself, just reminded me. Well, he's just said, can everyone see now why the people need guns at home? Well, let me just clarify something there. Southampton police? No, not Southampton police. It's on that phone, damn it. One of the police forces put out a notice earlier today that they will be refusing any new firearms license requests. It's the dog, Chris, it's Daisy. So there will be, or is it Northampton? No, Northampton, I think it was. Northampton, mate. Oh, I can't remember now. I've got it. It's on the phone that I'm using to film with, so I can't check. But they have said that, yeah, it could be Northampton. They've said that basically they are, they're refusing now any new firearms license requests. They will only deal with the ones that have already been put in. And I, you know, to me, I think that's a ridiculous thing to do, because it don't matter if you've got, look, kids can get older guns these days. Do you know what I mean? Kids can go out and get older guns. People are panicking and they're thinking, shit, if this all goes pear-shaped, right, we are in trouble. Do you know what I mean? There are people out there with weapons that will use those weapons to take the shit that we own, right? And we have to put our faith in the police in order to prevent that from happening. Really? You know, so they are refusing any new firearms license requests, which I think will push some people, not all, but they're going to push some people into going and buying illegal ones. Now, they could either be dangerous, okay, and do damage to the people using them, or people who go that, you know, we're going to go for a license and could have been held up in the licensing queue, who could have gone out, you know, go out and get a gun and fucking start doing some mad shit with it. And, you know, we don't need that. We don't need that. We need people that are checked, verified. You know, we know that they're compos mentis and they're allowed to handle a weapon. We don't want nutcases and kids running around on the streets with illegal firearms. You know what I mean? It's bad enough as it is, for God's sake. Do we have the right to bear arms? Well, I think that comes the way. See, the whole common law thing is not something that I generally deal with, because apart from the harm, loss, or damage, everything else is now in acts and statutes and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? And although, you know, acts and statutes are supposed to be policed by consent, what a lot of people don't realise is that we do give that consent in many cases by signing for things like driving licenses and all sorts of other bits and pieces. Do you know what I mean? But the right to bear arms, I think you'll find that if you, that would sort of come encompassed with the right to protect yourself and use reasonable force to protect yourself. Do you know what I mean? So the right to bear arms doesn't necessarily mean a gun or a knife in that sense. It could just be any weapon. Do you know what I mean? So if you're in a situation where you need to use a weapon to defend yourself, then you've got that right to bear arms in order to use proportionate force to dispel that situation that you're in. It's a tough one. There's so much red tape around all of that. It is really difficult, but there should. But I don't see there being any reason why, why people can't carry them. I mean, I personally, I wouldn't want to. I've never used a weapon on anyone in my life, apart from these. Do you know what I mean? But I've never picked up a chair or stabbed or anything like that. I've never done that to anybody, and I wouldn't do it. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't do that. But I don't see why people can't use a weapon for protection. Do you know what I mean? If the law was such that if you were found, I don't know, if you were seen brandishing your weapon in a public place without reason to, and there was a severe punishment for it, and I mean a severe punishment, I'm not talking about, well, don't do it again, we'll give you a suspended sentence, there's your gun back, run along, little boy. I'm not talking about that kind of shit that the courts are doing at the moment. If there was severe penalties for misusing weapons, then I don't see why it's such a bad thing to let people protect themselves with them. Yeah, it's all madness. Wake the dog. She's been for a long walk today. I normally take them for a walk late at night. So that way I haven't got to bump into people. So I normally take them for a walk late at night. But during the day, we normally go out in the back and I run them ragged with the ball running up. We've got quite a big yard out there. She can get full speed from one side to the other, so I normally wear her out there. But we went for a long walk today because the noise today was unbearable. Damon Head, mate, don't worry if it's slow to write stuff, mate. It's no problem. No problem. If you've not been on one of my lives before, you've got plenty of time to write a comment, believe me. The dog, I've got two. See you later, Marty lads. If you're off, if that's what's happening, my apologies. I've got two. I've got a lab cross and a pointer cross. You off as well, Stella? Chris Brown, yeah, you're right. It's not going to stop the nut jobs that have guns. However, wouldn't it be better to be able to protect yourself from the nutcases with guns? If that's, if that in those situations. I think people use guns because they feel that they're not going to get hurt. Do you know what I mean? They can finish somebody without getting hurt themselves. If there's a potential that they're going to get put a hole in, then they're going to think twice about shooting other people, I think. Are you taking the dogs for a walk, Stella? No worries. No worries. Enjoy your walk. Yeah, they're good. They're good dogs, AD. They're, shall we say, they're lifesavers. We'll leave it at that for now. Dogs are zen, indeed. I'm actually allergic to dogs, which makes it very difficult at the fact that I have to. But, you know, me being allergic isn't their fault. So, you know, why should I let them suffer just because I'm allergic to them? Do you know what I mean? It's not their fault, so sod it. German Shepherd. I like German Shepherds, but I'm always a bit wary about them. When I was young, very young, I got locked up in the jaws of a German Shepherd around my shoulder, and it dragged me around a pub car park. It wasn't the dog's fault, but that makes me a little bit wary of German Shepherds. Although I'll still go and stroke them and say hello and stuff, I'm always just that little bit more extra careful with them. What do I think about cats? Well, if you batter them in the right batter, beer batter's good, and if you cook them for the right amount of time, then they're okay. Yeah, you need a very sweet and sour sauce with them as well, though. Chihuahua. Tommins, right? I agree with that. And I've said this. If there was more stringent and stricter rules surrounding the use of guns, i.e., if you get seen taking your gun out in public and it's not for protection reasons, yeah, then you should be in trouble for it. There should be no reason. If you carry a gun, there should be absolutely no reason why it should be in your hand, for example, unless you're in a situation that warrants it to be in your hand. But the problem is, this is where it lies. It lies with the punishments that people are given. The punishments are so inconsistent and so disproportionate with the offences, it's ridiculous. You got a Shih Tzu, Pete Globe. There's a Shih Tzu in Chester. Boom, boom. Get that? Shih Tzu, Shih Tzu, Chester Zoo. Oh dear. You've got 2 cats and 2 chihuahuas. Isn't that just like having 4 cats? Of course it was awful. Yes, I know. But come on. I knew it was going to get a boo rather than a yay, but, you know, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you are a very poor person. Yorkshire tea, cats are two-faced. Yes, I was having this conversation with Joe Public UK, I can't remember when it was now. It was last week. We was having this conversation. They come to you and they start rubbing up against your legs. I love you, I love you. Feed me, feed me, feed me. And you feed them and you give them a pat and a stroke and you rub their belly and all that shit. And then the cat goes, fuck you, I'm going next door for some more grub. And they go next door and do the same thing to them. Ungrateful bastards. You, Trinique, no, I'm sure they won't. But my talents are better suited for this audience. Don Walker, cats have cleaner arseholes. If you've seen my dog, you wouldn't be saying that. She is non-stop at her balloon knot. It's almost like she's up. You know when you get a balloon, a helium balloon, and you want to try and undo the knot, and you know when you bite at the knot for ages trying to loosen the knot. That's what she does with her butthole. It's like she's trying to bite the knot off all the time. I mean, no, I I do not bite the dog's ass. I do not nibble the dog's ass. She does it herself, to herself. Let me just clear that up as well. No, I don't lick it either. Come on, let's get back to things, shall we? We've gone from talking about guns to Daisy's balloon knot, a rusty sheriff's badge. Do you know what I mean? Come on now. Right. Thanks, um, Trinique. Thank you. Yeah, those Chihuahuas, they have little man syndrome, don't they? They're like Jack Russells. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna nip in and turn my kettle on as well. Actually, yeah, I've never liked little dogs. I don't see the point in having little dogs. Um, I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with them. It's just for me. Little dogs just not for me. Um, I think if you're gonna have a dog, you might as well have a dog. Do you know what I mean? A proper dog. I mean, you can't give a Chihuahua a cuddle. Do you know what I mean? Sounds silly, but they're tiny, so you can't really cuddle them properly. These two, they're big enough to get your arms around and have a cuddle on the dog bed, um, which is nice. Although I shouldn't do that because it kicks off my allergies. But there you go. When do you do live stream? Are you talking to me, Damon? Yeah, this week I'm doing live stream every night because I'm having building work done, and the noise during the day, I'm not able to make my videos during the day and edit them. So rather than do that, I'm doing a live stream of an evening where I do my PAP reports, and then we have we just have a half hour of chat afterwards, and then I cut the video down, download it, cut the video down, and then upload just the PAP reports on its own as well. But this week, as I say, is all about doing live ones. Next week, I'm going to go back to doing mainly pre-recorded ones and the odd live one. But live chats, we have a long, just pure live chat on a Sunday night or Monday night. All the PAP reports, if it's got in the title PAP reports, this week it'll be between 7 and 8, at some point between 7 and 8. But if it's a pre-recorded one that I've done, they're 7 o'clock. They're always live at 7 o'clock. But for this week, we're talking between 7 and 8 o'clock. But when I do a weekend, I call it a weekend live. I normally do it on a Sunday night. But sometimes if I'm not feeling well, I'll do it on the Monday. And that starts, again, be about 8 o'clock start. And that they normally go on for a good few hours, to be honest. I don't think I've had a live stream, like a plain live stream that's been less than 3 hours yet. Right, I just need to let me go put my kettle on because I need to make myself a brew. Right, guys, just in case anybody's interested, you might have to act on this quickly. But Farm Foods, if you've heard of Farm Foods, they're doing 18 packs of toilet roll, and you can buy three times 18 packs for £11. But you might need to act quickly. For £11. 3 for £11. 18 pack toilet rolls. Hello, Daisy. Come and say hello then. Come and say hello. Say hello. Ow, Alice. Ow, ow. Hello, 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 hello. Say hello to everybody. You can say hello to everybody. Oh, and ow, here's the other one. Oh, ow, ow. You all right, fatty? Hello, hello, fatty. Oh, hello, Alice. Hello, baby girl. Hello, my baby. Oh, this is the noisy one. This is the one that snores. This one. She's hurt her face today. Didn't you? Did you hurt yourself? You did, didn't you? Oh. Hello. 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 Oh, your breath smells like arse. Sad but mad. Who you talking to about the coffee? Hi, Joe Black. Right, back in 1 second. Too late, Lucifer. I'm back. A meat stick sausage. I think I've come in at the wrong point of this conversation, Holly, haven't I? You're talking about a meat stick sausage. Hey? What's all that about? Dog food, yeah. Okay, Holly. Oh, that's hot. Strangely enough, seeing as I've just poured it out of a bloody boiled kettle. Oh no, chocolate cake stayed down. Oh, who's run out of coffee? Who's run out of coffee? That's horrible, isn't it? I hate to have run out of coffee. That would really do my head in. I feel really bad for people that have run out of coffee. Must be really horrible. Ow. That coffee's really hot. Ian, thank you very much. Appreciate the comment. Scottish, I believe, by the looks of your profile picture, but not the Scottish way of spelling Ian. I can't drink tea. Tea makes me feel sick. I have to drink coffee, and I literally drink coffee all day long. And I'm talking all day long. I probably go through 20 plus cups of coffee a day at least. which is really bad for me, I know. And it really doesn't help with the sleeping issues and stuff. But saying that, after 6 o'clock, I'd move on to decaf now. Although it doesn't seem to be doing any different. So I might as well just get back on the hardcore stuff again, really, shouldn't I? No, I just don't like it, Holly. It's the taste of it makes me feel sick. Yeah, I know how you feel. I mean, I wake up. I won't say I wake up in the morning and have to have a coffee because I won't say I wake up in the morning at all. But when I wake up, I literally have to. Um, I need 3 coffees at least before I can even consider getting dressed. You've just logged in. Don't know what you've been chatting about. Right, to do with extra powers that the police are going to have and things like that, and some other information I'm going to be talking about in tomorrow's live. Because I think people need to be aware of what potential may lay ahead. So tomorrow I'm going to do the PAP reports, and then once the PAP report's done, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be quite a long live after that, I'm going to shut the live down. I'm going to make myself a drink, go to the toilet, and all the rest of the stuff I need to do, and let everybody else go and do the same. And then I'm going to come back on for another live to talk about some other bits and pieces that is going to be relevant, I think, over the coming weeks and months. Am I a secret dosser coming out the closet? You mean because of the? Because I don't. I do. Not, I might not get up at the same time many of you get up. I do have some medical issues that also affect my sleeping, which means that sometimes I struggle to wake up in the mornings. But yeah, but I still get up with enough time to make my PAP reports, and that's what matters at the moment. Candy Cane can't even eat a coffee sweet. Well, I will take all the coffee sweets off you. If you ever get some roses or whatever, sweets like that, not celebrations, but roses or the other ones, Quality Street, and you've got any coffee ones, let me know. And I'll give you my address and you can send them all down to me and I will gladly take them off your hands. Chris Brown, you're a coffee monster. Got a coffee brew machine for Christmas. I'm looking at getting a machine to go next to my computer, so I haven't got to keep getting up and going in the kitchen all the time, because it's really annoying having to stop in the middle of what I'm doing to go and make a brew. David P, petitions won't matter, mate. They won't matter, unfortunately. They're not going to make any difference. I don't want to say it because it's it's going to flag me up on the NSA, the FBI, all the rest of it, MI5 and all that stuff that are no doubt monitoring for keywords. However, when our rights are eroded due to what's going on, then it's going to be very difficult to do anything about it without a bit of an uprising. There you go, I said it. So let's have a check, Holly. Ah, yes, Dean Carter. Thank you very much, Dean. Much, much appreciated. Very kind of you. Thank you. Well, we'll have to, Ian, we'll have to see what happens, mate. The problem is that many people will simply submit, you know, they will simply submit, and that's where the problems start from. You know, people sit there and they go, oh, well, the government are removing this right and that right and the other right, but they're the government, so, you know, they must be doing it for us, they must be doing it for our protection and all the rest of it. No, 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 no. Whatever happens, we should not have to forfeit our rights. And again, this is something that we're going to be discussing in a live stream tomorrow night. Ian, a lot of people say, you know, and no disrespect, absolutely no disrespect. A lot of people say, I've had enough of this. But when it comes to it, they turn yellow. You know, there are people out there that will follow through. And when I say that, that sounds like I'm talking about something really bad. But there are a lot of people that will say this needs to change, and they'll do what it takes to change it. But there are more people that say this needs to change, but we'll let somebody else change it for us. And that's where the problem is. It's like with the council tax. You know how there was problems, you know, everybody kicking up about the council tax. Everybody said that, oh, it's rubbish, you know, scrap it, I'm not paying council tax, blah, blah, blah. But what happened? 99% of people carried on paying their council tax. It's only if we all stick together that changes will happen. And at the moment, there's not enough people that will stick together. We might think that 1,000 people is a lot of people to make a difference, but it's not. There has to be a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, if you think about it, what have the government been doing for the past few years at least? What have they been doing? They've been creating pockets, right? They're the government are the ones that are separating people. See, now there isn't just citizens anymore. There isn't just people. There isn't just human beings anymore. Now there's a big fuss about, and I know that there was racism in the past and things like that, but what, you know, this is what I'm trying to get at, right? Instead of everybody thinking, well, we're all human beings, we've all got to live here, let's just get on. Okay, I don't agree with you, rather than shooting you or whatever. So what? You got your opinion, I've got mine opinion. They don't match, no problem. Do you know what I mean? But instead of that, what we have now is we have shall we say, and this is probably going to cause me problems. Maybe some of you will have a cut at me, whatever. But I have to say it as I see it. We have blacks, we have Asians, we have whites, we have gays, we have transsexuals, we have Christians, we have Jewish, we have Muslims. Everybody now seems to want to be in a little group, rather than just saying, well, fuck it, we're all people, we're all human beings, right? But no, everybody wants to be in their own exclusive little group. And the government have engineered this, okay? The government have engineered this so that now nobody's going to come together. Nobody's going to come together to fight back. Do you see what I'm saying? do you really think in the current climate, I hate that word, but do you really think that do you really think that the people that are in the black category are going to say, okay, let's work with the whites? And excuse me for being so blunt about this, but let's work with the whites to get these rights back. No, they're not. Do you think the Muslims are going to say, okay, let's work with the Catholics and the Christians, and let's do what needs to be done for this country? No, they're not. Of course they're not. This divide and conquer that's been going on for a long time, and we now have so many pockets of different types or groups of people that in most cases fucking hate each other. So where are we going to get the support? How are we all going to come together? How are we all going to come together and be a force to be reckoned with? The public, the citizens are in charge, ultimately, right? We are in charge because we pick the people to represent us, supposedly. But that makes us in charge. But they know that, and they don't want that. So what they've had to do is break us down into small groups, manageable groups of people, okay, that will fight amongst themselves, and the government can sit there and go, we'll never get overthrown in this, with this, situation going on. They all fucking hate each other. They're never going to work against us. You see what I mean? Okay, Trinique, that is a good point with in Birmingham over the teaching in schools. I get that. That's a very good point. I think that was what's the word I'm looking at? I don't think that they will come together for everything. Do you know what I mean? They're not just going to throw that aside for everything. I mean, that was a very serious issue, and so is what's coming. But that was it's hard to explain because that was a very political thing as well, and I'm not very good on politics and political stuff. But you make a good point, and you've stumped me, to be fair, and I'm not really sure what to say about that. But I do think that it's very difficult. I mean, remember as well that they weren't fighting let's say they weren't fighting the government as such. Although the policies came from them, they weren't fighting the government. That was them against the schools, right? Which is, how can I put it? I'm trying to think because I don't really talk about like the political side of stuff, because it's really, there's other channels that do politics and stuff like that, and I'd rather leave them to do it because that's their niche, if you like. Hello, Noli D. How are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, I know it's part of the local government, but again, fighting against the council is different from fighting against the government as such. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, that's my opinion. Again, politics aren't really my thing, so I'm not gonna tell you things that I expect you to believe, because I don't have much of a clue about politics at all, and I really try and keep out of that. But I just don't think that if people turned around and said, you know what, right, they're taking our rights away to do this, that, and the other, I just don't think that many of these groups are going to band together in order to fight back. And if they do, then the government will engineer something to make them fall out again and to stop them from doing that. What I'm trying to get at is when you break down society into small groups, it's easier to control them. Because all you've got to do is Chinese whisper to that group that that group said something bad about them. Now they're fighting again. Doesn't need any proof. Doesn't need anything. Doesn't need anything to actually start it. You just need the news to say that something's happened, and everybody listens on to the mainstream media, and they're going to go, oh, but it must be true that those people hate us now, so we're going to hate them. And it's just easier to control smaller groups and to stop them banding together than it is to control a big group. Segregation, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Divide and rule, divide and conquer. And I just think I'm not saying it's impossible for everybody to work together. I'm not saying that at all. I just think it'd be very, very difficult for everybody to get together and forget their differences in order to get a point across. So as I was getting all political there, and the amount of viewers dropped. Yeah, the PAP reports will be edited for later. I know they are, Thomas. I just try and stay as far from the actual politics side of things as I can. If politics creeps into to what I'm talking about, then fair dues. But I'd rather stay off of the topic as a main discussion point. No, I know. I know. There's no need to apologise. I know I did. But it's all good. It's all good. Opinions are good, mate. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether people agree with me, disagree with me, or whatever. I don't care. Everybody is welcome here. Everybody is welcome to share their opinions. I can learn new things. I might be an old dog, but I'm happy to learn new things if people persuade me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Tommins, yeah. I think there's channels out there who specifically discuss politics, but may touch on policing because that's part of it. But their main idea or their main focus is the politics behind it. My main focus is the policing and the way that the public are treated by those in positions of authority that are supposed to protect us and whatnot. The reason my nose is going is not coronavirus, it's because I touched the dogs and I'm allergic to them. Stuart George, how are you, dude? Yeah, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, most certainly. Cooties. I haven't got cooties. Been on the Charlie. Oh. Not for many, 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 many years. Shouldn't say. Just imagine if my mum were watching this. My God, she would kill me. I'll give the dog a little pet earlier on camera and I'll give her a kiss. And because I've pressed my face up against her, I forget sometimes I'm allergic. and now my nose is a little bit. You'll slap me for who? On whose behalf are you wishing to slap me, Noli D? Chaz Island? What's Chaz Island? Oh, no, she just did have a go at me if she caught me saying half the stuff that I've said on here. But, you know, just because she doesn't agree doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Sorry, Mum. Yeah, Tom, and you're absolutely right. Absolutely. As I said, we, you know, we're the ones with the power because we're the ones who choose to represent us. Do you know what I mean? So we're the ones supposedly with the power. But yeah, we over time we've slowly forgotten that. I think most people have slowly forgotten that, and it's left us in a situation now where we can ultimately be controlled and coerced by threat of force, you know, into doing what they want instead of them doing what we want. Oh, Stuart, you got a hernia. No way, you got cancelled. I know everything's been put on a burner now, isn't it? Back burner. I'm sorry to hear that, though. Not good, especially when you've been waiting for so long. Stella Andrews, you are God. We are all our own God. We should worship ourselves. Or at least we should worship ourselves a bit more than most people do at the moment. Because most people are quite happy to just give up, give in, follow the herd, so to speak. And look where it's got us. Ian, I think the problem is, Ian, is that when you have, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, or trying to think of a way of putting it. If you keep telling if you tell your child, right, for example, that they're not allowed to go in a certain room in the house, and I know this is a really weird way of putting it, but if you keep telling somebody you're not allowed in that room, you're not allowed in that room, and you tell them off when they go in that room, right, and then you keep telling them that you're not allowed in that room, and then you tell them off again when they go in that room, even though they're allowed in there, right, even though there's nothing in there that's going to hurt them or anything like that, but you keep telling them that they can't go in that room, over a period of years, they're going to forget that they're just not allowed in there because you don't want them to. And they'll actually believe that they're not allowed in that room and they won't go in there. And it's exactly the same thing with our rights. If if people are made to believe that certain things don't exist anymore, certain rights don't exist anymore for long enough, then eventually we're going to forget that we used to have those rights. Okay. And then when we try and fight back against those rights and say, well, hang on a minute, didn't we used to have X, Y, and Z? They're going to turn around and going to go, no, what are you talking about? You've never had that. And they'll hide the truth from you. Why do you think they don't teach in schools? Why do you think they don't teach them human rights in schools? Why do you think they don't teach them in schools about your rights when it comes to the law? The reason they don't teach people is because they don't want these generations that are coming since us to know about it. They want them all to completely forget that it exists. Mark Edwards, we need more critical thinkers like you on here, but all people think you're crazy or overbearing. Who thinks I'm crazy and overbearing? Tell me who it is and I'll ban them from the chat. No, I'm only joking. I've got no cake here today. Oh, I've just remembered though, I do have a jacket potato, but I've got nothing to go on it. I'll just have to have a jacket potato with butter. I'm over crazy. I'm over crazy and bearing. There is no waste cake. It's gone. It's gone. I'm like Cookie Monster when it comes to cake. When I'm feeling good enough to eat it, I was literally like that. Cookies. Yes, Ian. What's up? Or are you asking why people are calling me Pap? Yeah, you're right, Brian. People believe others have authority, but nobody has authority over you as a human being. We've given people the authority to police, um, and and protect us from certain things, but there was never intended to remove our rights in that process. Ian, it depends, mate. It depends how you want to do it. I mean, liking, subscribing, sharing the videos, commenting, and watching as much of each video as you can is a great help. There is the PayPal link in the description. There's a Patreon page, which is a monthly thing. There's merchandise links in the description as well. All of those things will help to support the channel, and I appreciate, no matter what it is, even if it's just sharing the videos and commenting, being part of the community. Yeah, question everything. Yeah, I agree. Research and then question the sources. I agree with that, absolutely. Can you tell me something that the council said to you in a letter? Yeah, of course. tomorrow I'm gonna go through what I know, and I'm also gonna explain some potential issues with what may be happening. Again, I've not got any solid source of the information that I've received as such. I mean, I've seen it, I've read it, but I've got no solid. It's not like somebody from the government has phoned me up and told me. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got anything like that going on. But I will talk about what I know so far. But other than that, I will talk about some issues which will be based on fact, that are going to affect everybody. Yeah, police. There's already legislation now. Public health. I think it's the Public Health Act or something. Let me just double check. Right, the Health Protection Coronavirus Regulations 2020 is legislation that was put in place on the 10th of February this year. It was made at 6:50 a.m. on the 10th of February, and it was laid before Parliament that very same day in the afternoon. And then it was brought in. The Public Health or the Health Protection Coronavirus Regulations 2020 state that the police can detain you if they believe that you have coronavirus in order to have you tested, or if you have been tested and you are recorded as being infected, then the police have the powers to detain you and take you to a place of detention. I'm not, Thomas, without being disrespectful, I'm not entirely sure I understand what that comment meant. Right. Okay. That last bit that you added afterwards, now it makes sense. I understand now. It's because you couldn't fit it all in one comment. Okay, I understand that now. Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, all I want to do is I just want people to know what's going on out there. Do you know what I mean? I've got no reason to. I've got, as I've said before, it's not that I dislike the police, for example, and they are the main focus on the channel. It's not that I dislike the police. The police are a necessity. We need them. And if they were doing their job properly, no problem. Absolutely no problem at all. I mean, for many years, the police done what they were meant to do. But now they don't. They go overboard. They do things they're not supposed to do. They go completely outside of their remit. They've become the thought police, as we know. You know, there's all sorts of things going on, and that's what I want to highlight. I want people to see the side of things that they don't normally see. So that's why I try and get sources from different places. It's going to say, it saves you guys time having to search, looking for stuff from all different sources, because some things are reported in, you know, like small newspapers, small town newspapers that are very serious, but won't be reported in bigger papers. Or the bigger papers will report something and then a few days later they delete it. So then when you try and click the link and go back to it, it no longer exists. And there's things like that. And that bothers me. That proves to me that people are trying to hide something. I don't want people trying to hide something. I want people to know what's going on. Well, remember, guys, if you've got any footage and you want me to take a look at it, I am more than I can't promise that it will all appear on the channel, you know, broken down. But if anybody's got any footage of interactions with the police that they'd like me to take a look at, I haven't done one of those videos for a while now, so please feel free. You can send it through the WhatsApp number, which is in the header on this channel. If you go to the main channel, like if you click on my logo and go to my channel homepage, and you can send it through WhatsApp, you can send it through email if it's small enough. You can send it through wetransfer.com if it's a big file. There's lots of ways to send me stuff if anybody's out there watching this at the moment that has something they'd like me to take a look at. No, Thomas, no, I didn't take offence to it, mate, at all. Absolutely not. You know, I rarely take offence to things unless it's about my kids. Do you know what I mean? Then I'll take offence to stuff. But if you know, even if you was saying something about me that wasn't very nice, then you've got every right to do that, even if I don't agree with you. Some people say things about me that's not very nice, and I do agree with it. Yeah, Thomas, to be honest, mate, I mean, in all fairness, most of them know probably everything they need to know about me anyway, to be fair. I don't, I don't go out of my way to do anything that's illegal. I don't go out of my way to do anything that's going to cause me problems. The only problems that I might have is from people that disagree with what I say, and feel that they need to make a point about it. But I'm not afraid of people like that. Do you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, however, but as I said in the live yesterday, if you own your mistakes, if you've made mistakes and you own those mistakes and put your hands up to them, then people can't use that kind of thing against you. Do you know what I mean? But I get what you're saying totally. Well, he's not now. That he's behaving now. Yeah, they're behaving. What if someone talks smack about Daisy? Call her what you like. She's a bitch. That's true, David. Yeah, cannot be blackmailed if you own it. My left cheek is ugly. You should see my right cheek. It's worse. Dan Dart, she does snore. She's a very noisy snorer. I need to get her on a what's it called? On one of their machines for Oh my God, what's it called? Right, somebody help me out here. I'm struggling to think what it's called. And when you go to sleep and you have to put the thing on your face to help you breathe. I should know what it's called because I've got one. CPAP. That's CPAP. That's it, Holly. Yeah, a CPAP machine. I've got one myself because I'm a fat bastard and I stop breathing when I'm asleep, which some people would quite like the sound of. But I need to get one for Daisy, I think. Yeah, no, Tommins, I do sort of keep up on that kind of thing. I do know what they're trying to do. Um, but I'm going to be moving soon anyway. Hopefully, hopefully. Yeah, isn't that talking about a CPAP machine? Isn't that sleep apnea? That's the one. I've got it. I've got it, and I couldn't even remember what it was bloody called. Unbelievable. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah, no, I know, Thomas. I know. I appreciate you. Appreciate you thinking of me like that. I do, genuinely. Um, if it gets too much, do you know what I mean? Then I'll deal with that. At the moment, I know that the only thing that I need to be worried about are people like Dan Tierney, who is a regular troll on the channel from Ireland. His wife is Garda, and he has a habit of leaving comments, quite bitchy comments. Doesn't bother me, but that's the worst I have to worry about at the moment. It really is the trolls. I think you misspelt that, Stella. Don't you mean fuck the police? No, no. I'm looking to move back down south. Yeah, no worries, Dean. No worries. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow, no doubt, in PAP Reports. The coffee's nice, although it's gone cold quickly. Thank you, Ian. This is why I like doing the live streams. To be fair, when I can do a long live stream. I mean, it's long now because it's 2.5 hours. Although the first half hour of that was the PAP reports, but oh, good night, Holes 5,000. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure it'll be that far south, Lucifer. I need to move a bit closer to. I have to move a bit closer to where my children are. Um, so yeah, it will be Essex somewhere. I just don't know where yet. See you, Holes 5,000. No, oh, I'm always moaning, always moaning. It's not just about my coffee. I'll moan about anything, me. Tiptree, I've not been there for, oh my God. I must have been a child the last time I went to Tiptree or near Tiptree. Ian, I've not even been in a supermarket. I've not even been in a, since all of this kicked off, I've not even been in a supermarket. Um, I've been to my local shop, which is fully stocked, but I've not been to a supermarket. Did I say I had some news you were going to bring? I'm going to talk tomorrow. I've done the PAP reports for today. Tomorrow I'm going to do the tomorrow's PAP reports as usual, and then that, although that'll be alive like today's and yesterday's, and then I'm going to come off of the live. I'm going to give everyone a 10 or 15 minutes to get themselves a cup of tea or whatever they need. I'm going to go get myself a cup of tea, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening, what I've been told, and some of the consequences of that. But that'll be tomorrow. Yeah, it's a good point, Thomas. Very good point. Joe Black, don't try getting in on the market, mate. I've got some second-hand toilet roll here that I'm going to be selling soon. So, I don't want you coming on here selling your wares. That's for me only. I've not seen the stock markets on toilet rolls. I do know, well, I do know the old Forex was having had a bit of a diarrhea moment, hasn't it, today? I've just flipped Sky News on, just to see what was going on, if anything. But it looks like it's replaying. Is anybody? Because I don't want to put the volume on because I'm on here. Is anybody watching, or has anybody got Sky News on at the moment? Because it's got Bojo Downing Street with a press conference. I just want to know whether it was the same, whether it's just a repeat of the one that he done this afternoon, or if there's any more news. So if there's anybody that's got Sky News on at the moment, can you just tell me whether what he's saying now is a repeat of what he said this afternoon or not? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. I just wasn't sure whether there was new, whether all of a sudden another 100 odd people had died and they're going to have to put in more restrictions. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if at some point overnight something is, there's a breaking news update and we're all going to wake up in the morning and realize or find out that something bad is happening to us all. Well, I know Trump has called in a couple of hospital ships, hasn't he? But those hospital ships are not for coronavirus cases. The hospital ships are for other cases to alleviate any extra pressure on the medical system that they've got over there. Stephen Girling, yeah, exactly. Wake up in the morning and realise that what we once knew is no more. Yeah, FEMA apparently have been going mental. It's I don't think a lawsuit would achieve anything. I don't think, to be fair. It's one of those things that can easily be denied for many different reasons. I just don't think that international lawsuits, I think that the governments would all turn around and say, look, there ain't no point in doing it. Do you know what I mean? Something that people have been talking about, the financial reset. Do you know what I mean? I think that's more likely, to be fair. I think a financial reset is more likely than a lawsuit against China taking place. I mean, think about it. They've already said, the head of the Bank of England has already said that he'll just print money. Now, what's that going to do? The economy is already starting to crash now, okay? But what do you think printing more money is going to do? We are going to end up like Zimbabwe, okay, where we've got a $10 trillion note, a $10 trillion bill, okay, which is worth about 27 pence on the on the exchange. And that's because their government kept printing and printing and printing and printing and printing. And now they've got things like $10 trillion bills, which if you try and exchange it comes to something like 27p. And an economy cannot cope on numbers like that. You just cannot do it. You just can't do it. So if the if the Bank of England just prints money, it means nothing to us. It means nothing. The price of everything's gonna, well, the price of things won't go up, but the value of the pound will drop. So it would seem like things have gone up. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's, the people that we have put where they are now want to sweep us under the carpet so that they're safe and secure and forget about the rest of us. I mean, we put these people where they are, and yet now they want to shit all over us. Yeah, Brian Jones, there's another thing as well, is the loans. They've said about loans, and what's that going to do? That's going to tie you to the government for as long as it takes to repay those loans. So you will be in debt to the government. Everybody panicking, everybody's going, oh, we need money, we need money, we need money. What they're going to do? A lot of people are simply going to go and get a loan, okay, for their business or whatever, right? And the loan will come from the government, which they've already, what they said in the conference the other day is that it would be an attractive package. To who? Well, it will be an attractive package because people are shitting themselves, and anything is an attractive package to people that are shitting themselves. People think they're going to end up with nothing. They're going to lose their house. They're going to lose their kids. They're not going to be able to eat. So even if you said, we'll lend you this money at a 50,000% interest, which is not, I'm just saying as an example, if you thought you're going to lose everything, and someone said to you, we'll give you some money, you can pay it off for the rest of your life, right? So, it's not big payments, you just pay it off for the rest of your life, small bits, yeah, whatever. 50,000 interest, which is, I'm just grossing over exaggerating there. So you're going to say yes anyway, just because you want to keep a roof over your kids' heads and you want to keep them fed. So you're going to agree to that, right? And then after, you are in debt to the government for the rest of your lives. Everything you own will now belong to the government because you can't afford to pay it. When you die and you haven't paid it off, the government come in and take all of your assets. Don't go to your kids or anything else. Government take them, yeah, to pay back the money that you borrowed because you were scared. If they offered a lower interest than your mortgage, whilst at the same time wiping your mortgage, yeah, maybe. But this is what this financial reset people are talking about. Yeah, just wipe all debts and everything, right? And everybody starts all over again. I struggle to see exactly how that's going to work, but I can understand why that might happen, if that makes sense. But if the government said, right, financial reset, boom, forget everything you owe or anything like that, all gone, done, dusted, yeah. But for example, your house, because we're going to wipe the debt, yeah, your house now belongs to us, but you can live in it. Yeah, if this financial reset, that's the only way I can see it happening, is if the government said, yeah, we're going to go for a financial reset, then the government will own everything. I mean, please, anybody out there that wants, please discuss this with me. I want to talk to people about it and let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm mental, if you think I'm talking shit, if you've got other views, then please, let us know. I just think that if the government turn around and say, right, that's it, then the government will own everything. Plus, they're going to say to you, right, we've given you a loan to get you through. Yeah, because it's a government loan, you've got to pay it back. Anybody else's loans, civil matters, no, don't worry about that. Because it's a government loan, you've got to pay that back. And because the value of the pound is now so low, because we just printed money, you're now going to be paying that off for the next 3 generations. So everything you own is ours for 3 generations, and you're in our pocket. Snap phase, have they actually announced that now? Have they? I know obviously Trump has said that they're going to give $1,000 to every person. I mean, how the fucking hell can they afford to pay $1,000 to every single person in America? Yeah, Joe Black, that could well be why I received the message this morning from my credit card company saying, oh, we've noticed that you don't use your full credit limit, so we're going to drop you down. And in fact, they wanted to knock off 70% of my credit limit. They wanted to knock me down by 70%, right? Saying that is because I don't use it all. Maybe it's because they're panicking that people might go and spend it all. Do you know what I mean? And rather than taking your cards off you, because that would be a bad move, saying, you know, cancelling everybody's credit cards would be a bad move. But maybe by saying, well, we're going to drop it, it's going to alleviate some of the pressure on them if everybody spunks all of their credit cards up the wall. And I'm not saying you should do that. Do not take that as advice of what you should do. Do not. I'm just saying that is a possibility. I've not been looking at the price of dildos. The ball gags are going up in price though. Yeah, I see things going all Mad Max, or a mix between Mad Max and Judge Dredd. Whatever film you can imagine that is half Mad Max and half Judge Dredd. That's what I can see happening. Trinique, like I said, I wasn't giving any advice there saying that. The last thing I want anybody to do is to go out and spend their, spend money that they haven't got in the hope that we're going to get a financial reset. Because I don't know if there's going to be a financial reset. It could happen, but if it does, then we're all fucked anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because we are all going to be, most people are going to be in the government's pocket, and that is not a good place to be for anybody. Well, Ian, feel free to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? All I'm saying, for legal reasons, I have to say that wasn't advice that I was giving. You know, I've got to be responsible. I've got to be responsible. Utrinique. Yeah, that's the way I say it, isn't it? Utrinique. Is that how you say it? Oh, you're struggling now. Couldn't you just pick something like Fred. What's that? Can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I do. I absolutely murder people's names and names of places. I'm not very good at stuff like that, I'm afraid. Um, yeah, I think we could all be looking at maybe a Hunger Games style thing. Do you know what I mean? With the capital and everybody living in these numbered things. Pat Butcher, thank you, Holly. Thank you so much. Bitch. Mark Edwards, are you? I just ask again. This is not me being disrespectful, but are you laughing at martial law because you think it's a ridiculous thing to say, or do you think it's you're laughing because you think it's potential? Just out of curiosity. Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that we're going to be discussing in tomorrow's live stream after the PAP reports tomorrow. Yes, my brother lives in Spain. I know the army are out in Spain, um, enforcing the lockdown, enforcing the curfew. I know it's not just in Spain as well. Some of our police are armed. I think that the difference is the police, if they were to shoot people, let's just say, for example, the police are shooting people because they were out when they should have been indoors, right? It's going to open them up to many problems. So if that's why these, as well, why these countries are bringing in army as well as the police. Yeah, the army have powers above and beyond the police do in certain situations. They've got a baton, Ian. But I mean, let's face it. If this we're dealing with people, this is supposed to be dealing with people with a virus that they can catch. I don't think they want to get close enough to people to use their baton on them, unless they're PC 3139 William Sampson, who enjoys batting people up close and personal. Baseball bat with barbed wire. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Lucifer. I'm just not going to feed the dogs for a week or two, right? And then I'm going to tie them to the end of some long sticks and then wrap some barbed wire around it, right? And I'll use them. So you'll have a dog at the end going, trying to rip people's faces off. Daisy has got a lot of energy, trust me, more than I have. Well, they've said they're going to fine people, and if people don't pay their fine, they're going to go to prison. That's ultimately what the situation is. If the fines don't get paid, it's not like a civil thing where you've borrowed money from somebody. You can't go to prison for that. But if it's a fine, government imposed or court imposed fine, then you obviously can go to prison for that. Well, the good thing about Daisy, if we end up with a lawless society, good thing about Daisy is nobody gets in here. Nobody gets in here without her say so. Um, Most people that come round, I have to take the dog out to meet them in the street first before she will even let them in the house. No, James, I'm just saying as an example. You know, if you know people want to come and like the purge. And I'm not trying to frighten anybody. That that kind of thing is very unlikely. But I'm just over exaggerating a little bit to prove a point. Yeah, well, Ian, this is something that we're going to speak about tomorrow. As I say, there are a lot of pitfalls for the potential changes that are happening or about to happen. There's a lot of pitfalls for us, long-lasting pitfalls, and that's what I want to talk about tomorrow. Yeah, we're not talking about purging on toilet roll, Joe Black. Not talking of purging on toilet roll down at the shops. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, Ian, as well, is most people are watching the TV, um, and obviously the TV are giving information that they are told to share, um, which is something that we'll be talking about tomorrow as well. And unfortunately, because most people watch the news or read the news and take it on its word, so to speak, um, a lot of people are going to be more than surprised, I think. But it's pretty much our own fault, really, because we've allowed this to happen. We've allowed ourselves to be in a situation where we are pawns, shall we say. You know, we are the workers for the elite. We are their money bag, so to speak. I don't know. It's just. I mean, there's literally so much going on. It's crazy, but there are a lot of things that are potentially going to happen that will affect everybody. Because over the years we've allowed the government to have more and more control of us. We're now in a position. No, Ian, I understand what you're saying, but we have allowed it because we haven't done anything to stop it. You know, I'm not saying that we haven't tried. I'm not saying that at all. But again, this goes back to the fact that society is now broken down into all these groups who refuse to want to work together. And because of that, there's not enough people, okay, turning around and saying, whoa, hold on a minute, we ain't doing that. And when you think about even the petitions, do you know what I mean? You think of petitions on the petition government website. There's a lot of petitions on there that are really important, but yet people won't sign them. People don't want to get involved. And because people don't want to get involved and people don't want to say, no, you can't do that, our power as the people has dwindled to a point where the government aren't even afraid of us anymore. Right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now. We've been just over 3 hours now. I need to get this video. I need it to render on YouTube properly so I can download it and edit it and get it up in the next couple of hours as separate PAP reports. So let me end by saying thank you to all of you who have stuck around. I know we started with quite a few people and we've dropped down to 34, but that's all right. That's fine. It's not a problem. I appreciate you spending your time with me this evening. Thank you very much for that. Don't forget to make sure you do what you need to do to remain safe, shall we say, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks once again. Look after yourselves, look after each other, film the police, and all them other motherfuckers. See you tomorrow, folks. Thank you.